Play AFTV PICK10 this week and you could win a share of a massive £10,000. Also, just for taking part, you can win the brand new iPhone 14. Why am I even giving this away? And one of 2 FIFA 23 games, which has only just come out. And that's not all. We've also got a North London Derby special where we are giving away an extra prize pot of at least £2,000 in our game day special. All you need to do is enter your match predictions into AFTV PICK10 and do it right now. To win, you don't have to get all of the answers right, you just need to get the most right. To play, click the link in the description and download AFTV Plus from the App Store and play AFTV PICK10. And remember, you must be over 18 to enter. Hi and welcome along to the Invincible podcast with my man Lee, the judges in the building. And listen, as they just said, don't forget AFTV PICK10. You've got to enter that. All you got to do is download the app from the App Store. It's called AFTV Plus. It's in the App Store right now. Download that and you can play AFTV PICK10. A chance to win a share of £10,000. And they're doing a special this week as well, right? Where you can win a share of £2,000 in the North London Derby special. And on the main competition, you can win this iPhone, brand new iPhone in Arsenal red as well. Oh. I'll tell you, this is nice, isn't it? I'm like, why are we giving this away?
It's my daughter's birthday this week, you know. I've got to
keep away from that, mate. You know what I mean? Right. I'll put that over there.
Don't leave that about.
Yeah, I don't know what you're like, you know what I mean? I know what these guys are like from your area, your neck of the woods, you know what I mean? So that'll be staying over there.
It's a bit harsh.
By the way, I'm just going through some of mine. On the Tottenham special, the North London Derby special.
There's nothing special about Tottenham.
Of course, got Arsenal to win. Over both teams to score. What did you go on your one?
Both teams to score.
So did I put yes. Over 2.5 goals?
Yes.
I went yes as well. I think there's going to be a lot of goals. So that's going to be really interesting.
Well, what did you do? Come on. Huh? There's another important one that you've done and I haven't.
Oh, on the main... Oh,
no. Yeah, go on.
Harry Kane to score.
Yeah, first you put Harry Kane to score.
Because he always scores against us.
Desperate for the iPhone, isn't he? Right.
He always scores against us.
Not always. Did he score last season? Did he? Because no,
he didn't. But that's about the only time he hasn't.
Well, yeah, it's, you know.
Right, and just going through, on my result on the PICK10 one, Arsenal v Tottenham. Of course, I've got Arsenal to win. And what did you go on some of them? I mean,
Arsenal,
Bournemouth, Brentford.
I've actually gone for a draw on that one.
No, I went for Bournemouth to win that.
Did you?
Cardiff versus Burnley.
Burnley.
Yeah, I've gone Burnley. Crystal Palace versus Chelsea.
Crystal Palace. Go on, Vieira.
Oh, have you?
Yes.
Oh, have you?
Home advantage. Not easy place to go to.
I'm going for a draw.
Oh yeah.
Fulham versus Newcastle. That's a good one.
I went Fulham home.
I've gone Fulham home as well. Liverpool versus Brighton. Liverpool at home. Got to go
Liverpool, yeah.
Southampton v Everton. That's a good one.
I've gone for the Toffees.
Have you?
Yes.
To win?
Yes.
Nah, Southampton for me. Yeah. Inter versus Roma.
Inter.
Yeah, I've gone Inter.
Can't stand Roma.
Sevilla, because of Mourinho.
Yeah, Mourinho.
Sevilla versus Atletico Madrid.
I've gone for Sevilla.
Have you? I've gone Atletico Madrid.
All right.
West Ham versus Wolves.
I've gone for the Hammers.
I've gone for Wolves.
Have you?
Yeah, they ain't really been playing that great, have they? So those are my choices. Listen, as I said, enter it right now, AFTV PICK10. The link is in the description. Download right now, AFTV Plus. And as I said, a chance to win this brand new iPhone 10, as well as a share of 10 grand. And you can enter the North London Derby special. We can win £2,000. And what we're going to be doing every week on the shows, we're going to be going head to head. Remember we used to do it before? Yeah. It's back now. We're going head to head. Now, this is the jeopardy, right? At the end of each month, the person who loses has to take out the person who won to a restaurant of their choice. Ooh. Yeah? So if you lose this monthly, you're going to have to take me out to a restaurant of my choice. You won't be able to say, right, we're going to McDonald's.
Oh, no.
Right? You're going to have to take me out.
Lucky I always win every week.
Yeah, so, right, guys, in the comments, let me know some expensive restaurants, man. I'm lining them up. That's who he'll be taking me, and I'm telling you, I'm going to go full on as well.
And if I win, which 9 times out of 10 I always do.
9 times out of 10, you win what?
Right, we'll see. I shall
9 times out of 10, you win what?
We shall be going to some nice restaurants.
Head to head. AFTV PICK10, the link is in the description.
Do you get starters as well, or is it just main course?
If I'm going up, you know them ones where you get like 5 courses? I'll be going there, mate, I'll tell you.
Right, this is getting
bottle of champagne on the table. You know what I mean? I'll tell you, I'll be living it up, mate, trust me. So, looking forward to that. But listen, it's all about the North London derby. That is what we are talking about today. It's on. It's the big one. For me, now the biggest derby in English football.
Yep.
Do you agree with that?
Oh, I totally agree with that.
Because I'm looking on it, and this weekend, the Manchester derby's on. And it's not got the same amount of hype as what the North London derby's got.
No,
and that's the Manchester derby. You would have thought, Man United, arguably the biggest club in the world, versus Manchester City, the champions. But more people are talking about the North London derby.
Yeah, because
it's bigger,
bigger. And the reason why is because Manchester United don't see Manchester City, they see it as Liverpool. So that takes that one out of it. Liverpool, Everton, they see it as Man United, so that takes them out of it. Newcastle and Sunderland, well, Sunderland are not about. That's a
big derby, but nowhere near as big as the North London derby in my books.
And then is there any other sort of derby like Aston Villa,
Birmingham, but Birmingham
doesn't get played. They're not about. So it's definitely.
I mean, it's true, when you really look, when you start to really run through the derbies, and I'm talking about in English football. I know people might be starting saying, what about Celtic Rangers? That is huge, right? I know that's huge, but I'm talking about English football. I don't think there's a bigger derby because I don't class Man United and Liverpool as a proper derby.
No, it's not.
I class that as a mega rivalry, but I don't class that as a derby. There's no derby bigger. I remember one time. Dele Alli was trying to say that playing Chelsea's a bigger game.
That's what I was say. I don't see Chelsea as a derby game. Do you? It's not got the same.
It's a London derby, but it's not the same.
It's not got this. It's not got this. The North London derby, everything that it represents, the fact that, they hate us because we're in North London and we were originally from South London. We came on their turf and we took it over. You know what I mean? They resent the fact that we've won so many trophies over the years. When we took Sol Campbell off them, that is still, this is the big one. This one is this real hatred between the two teams, and they're close. You know what I mean? We as we're doing this, we're doing this video right now. We're just down the road where we are. We're just down the road from Arsenal, which is just down the road from Tottenham. How many miles between the two grounds? 3, I think.
3 miles.
And also, this cannot be forgotten, and it has to be put into context as well. Tottenham Hotspur, massive club, they say, won 2 league titles. We've actually won 2 league titles on their ground.
Yeah.
Their whole history, they've only won 2. Right? We've won it twice. As many times as they've won the league, we've won it at their ground. No wonder they hate us.
It's a fierce rivalry, a very, very fierce rivalry. And, that's why the games are always early kickoffs as well, because the police request them to be early. It can kick off. Thankfully, it's not really like that at the Emirates. I think, the way we control the crowd and all that is better. At the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, it can kick off. The old White Hart Lane, it always used to kick. I was off a lot of times right in the middle of it, right? But it, for me, is the biggest derby in English football right now. And especially now, when you look at this one, Arsenal top of the league, Tottenham in 3rd place, just a couple of points back. They're unbeaten. 2 of the best teams at the moment in the Premier League. I mean, Lee, it's massive, isn't it?
It is massive, and I think it's 1 point behind. I think that we're.
It's 1 point. Yeah, 1 point behind us. Yeah,
with them and Man City. So, first and third, just want to say, going to the new White Hart Lane last season was nowhere near as bad. It was a little bit more friendly than what it had been in the past. But there's a massive rivalry.
I hate these games. I'm not going to lie. I absolutely hate this game.
Why?
Because there's so much riding on it with me, with family and you know, close friends and all that. Like, you know, if you win, it's fantastic. It's, you know, but if you lose, you get bantered and everything like that. And I just don't really like it for that reason. It's just more riding on this game for Arsenal and Spurs fans than any other game. I don't care.
How many of your families?
Well, all my mum's side we're all massive Spurs season ticket holders and everything like that. My mum is neutral, like, you know, she's
peacemaker.
Yeah, she's a lot more. If Arsenal win, she's happy. If Arsenal win, Spurs win, she's happy with that. But I think deep down she likes the Arsenal, like, you know what I mean? But she for this game now, she'll want to draw. Whatever happens, she just goes, I just want to draw, like, so like me and my brother won't argue. But we used to be terrible when we was younger.
You and your brother?
Yeah, like, you know what I mean, real bad about it. But like over the years, you know, he's moved away and we've mellowed.
Did you see the other day we had Toby in the studio, and if you guys get a chance, you know Toby, you watch the Superfan debates, right? He is vociferous.
Yeah, he's
hardcore.
One of the horrible ones.
Tottenham fans. Yeah, one of the horrible
I actually
ones,
like the guy, but as a Tottenham fan, he's a horrible
He's
Tottenham
a horrible guy, right? But we love him, yeah? But you know what the interesting thing was, right? I didn't know this until today.
No, didn't.
He goes to me, Robbie, I've got a twin brother. He goes, my twin brother's coming in to film on Box to Box. So I go, you got a twin brother? I go, I've never known that. I just didn't know you had a twin brother. He goes, yeah, I've got a twin brother. Right? His twin brother walks in with an Arsenal top on.
Yeah.
I was like, jeez.
Yeah, great, isn't it?
So his twin brother, right, is an Arsenal fan. And not only that, right, they were making me laugh because they were saying that when they were younger, he said to me that there was one game where it actually kicked off between them. And their dad said, listen, sort this out, or, you know, this is getting ridiculous now. I mean, it does divide families, doesn't it? It divides families, it divides friends. I mean, my next door neighbour, Tottenham fan.
Yeah.
And I know I'll get bantered if we lose this game. It's too much on it, man.
It's horrible. I've got a nephew that's named Kane.
Is it?
Yeah, like his actual name's Kane.
Well, after Harry Kane, he's his top fan.
Yeah. Straight up, like, this is a true story, right? I never bought him anything, like, for Christmas for 3 years, like, you know what I mean? And I straight
Seriously?
up, like, you know, because he lives abroad, and like, I don't like him, you know what I mean? Like, the name Kane, he's got Spurs kit on, everything like that. I didn't buy him anything like that. It was only through meeting Abby. Abby said, you bang out of order, like, doing that. And so I had to go out, you know, to keep on her good side.
This is deep with you, isn't it?
Yeah. So he did get a present. He got an Arsenal shirt. No, he didn't. Oh yeah. So I got Kane. All my nephews are all Spurs fans. So you know they get on the video if Arsenal have lost to them, like all in their Spurs kits and things like that. Like so, yeah.
And I mean, last year, let's go back to that game.
Awful.
End of the season. That was painful. Go to their ground, losing by 3-0, getting a right pasting in a game that we really needed to do something in. It was a really bad performance as well by Arsenal. Really, really horrible performance. That can't happen again.
No, but you made a great point on when we was doing the debates. You know what I mean? And I'm not listen. They beat us and deservedly so. I'm not making excuses, but we didn't have Ben White playing that day. We didn't have Tierney playing. We didn't have Partey playing.
Tomiyasu.
I think Tomiyasu played, but he wasn't fit, was he? He was 100% fit, like, you know. And we struggled, you know, through the game. You know, all of a sudden now we've got Gabriel, we've got Saliba at the back. We've also got Jesus up front. We've got a little bit more going for us this time around. I think. Like, I think we're a better team. Than what we was.
I think we're a much better team. I don't think we're just a better team. I think we're a much better team than when we played them in that game at the end of last year. And we were really depleted when we played them. Really, really depleted. And they took full advantage of that. And if you remember, when we were supposed to play them earlier on in that year, right? In that season, the game got delayed. But at that time, they had injuries, didn't they, to players like Son and people like that. But then they got them all back and they were all firing. Yeah,
and you know, deserved to beat us, and fair play to them, they did. I do think, even though that massive advantage is a home advantage, and I think like that they had it like that going to White Hart Lane is always going to be tough. as it is for us at the Emirates, and I think that's why we've got to be confident going into this game that we can win.
Yeah, you know what it is, Lee, right? A lot of Tottenham fans forget, right, that we beat them last year as well.
Forget that.
At the Emirates, we beat them 3-1. We put 3 past them as well. And that 3-1 flattered them because I remember that day we absolutely battered them. And do you know what? Earlier on, I was looking at, let me see if I can find that stat again, because I was like, this is unbelievable. This stat here, yeah? Arsenal have won their... no, sorry. Let me find it. Stats disappeared. Here it goes. Arsenal have lost just one of their last 29 Premier League home games against Spurs. Won 17, drawn 11. And are unbeaten in their last 11 games against them at the Emirates since a 3-2 loss in November 2010. So we've got a great... When I've been speaking to some Tottenham fans this week, and they're like, yeah, you know what, 3-1 to us, 3-0. I'm thinking...
Yeah, they always say that.
When you look at that record, how can you be that confident
that
you're going to come and beat us 3-1? I mean, I'm never really like it. When I'm going to their ground, I always look at the record, I always look at the fact that, you know, it's a really tough place to go to.
100%.
And I'm like, I reckon maybe a 2-1 maybe, or a draw. But they're like... They've done it 4-1. I'm like,
they've done it for many years. You know what I mean? Like when we was the best team in the country and we was going to Spurs, right? I never would turn around and say like in front of Spurs fans, "Oh, we'll win 3 or 4-0." I always said, "Well, I'll be happy with a draw." You know what I mean? Like, you know, hopefully like we win it. You know what I mean? But it was always a difficult game. Even when you look at the Invincibles, we drew there 2-2. I remember going there and Perez getting a late goal and we was dominant and all that. Like ultimately, they've been always tough games because they raised their game for those sort of games. Now there's nothing between the two sides and they still go 3-0. 3-0.
And we're even this season, we haven't lost a game at home.
No. And then
so why do they think that they're just going to saunter in and it's going to be so easy? I don't
because that's the arrogance of a Spurs fan.
I don't understand where that is coming from. Because at the Emirates at home this season, we've been so strong.
They've always had that gloating thing. They've always had that gloating thing because they can't gloat about much more, can they? So they just like, no, serious. They big up their side. You know, the way that they do. And that's what, you know, they've always, they feel like they've got a divine right to you know, we were talking the other day, we're going to win a trophy. Like, you know, like a divine right to it. They haven't won an FA Cup since 1991. Gary Lineker, by the way, was playing in that game. Like, you know what I mean? Now he's, most people, my son and all that, they think he's a presenter. They never knew he played football. That's the last time they won. That's the last time they won an FA Cup. But ultimately, right, they feel they've got a divine right for it. There's no divine right for anything. No. But for some unknown reason they do, and that's why they're not liked by a majority of this country. No, like, when I look back on it, like, you know, West Ham fans hate them. You know what I mean? Chelsea hate them. Wherever you go. No, you know, they've got to be the most hated team in London.
I was at a game the other day. Last weekend I got invited along to the Sidemen charity game, right? Big up to the Sidemen, what they did. Raised over £1 million for charity, right? But it was incredible. At the end of the game, loads of the fans were waiting for the presentation, yeah? Remember, this is a neutral ground, right? And then somebody started saying, "What do you think of Tottenham?"
Yeah,
right? And the whole stadium was singing it. And I was like, this ain't even an Arsenal game. And they didn't just sing it once. They must have sung it about 10 times. And I was like, nobody likes these people.
Nah. And you know, because it's like they banter West Ham because they haven't won a trophy for so long and everything like that. But they haven't. They've won a couple of League Cups in that time when the big boys play reserve teams and everything like that. Let's be honest. It's still nice to win. Yeah. I'm not saying it isn't, but ultimately teams don't take that as serious. So they have a go at these teams. They have a go. You know, we're bigger than Chelsea. We're bigger than this and bigger than that. You know, when the fact is the matter is that they're very fortunate to be known as a top 6 side because they have got a fantastic big fan base.
They've got a big fan base, yeah.
I'll give them that. And they are a big club in terms of that. I've always said that. But as
you know, I mean, half of their fan base is from South Korea because of Son. But
well, yeah, they are now. Like, but like they've got.
But no, they have to be fair. To be fair,
they've always had a.
They've always been a.
But they've never been really a competitor. They turn around and go, Daniel Levy holds us back. Holds you back from what? Do you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Look, they get very, very fickle. I have a go at me when I say that. I go, Daniel Levy holds them back. But holds them back from what?
If you ask me, they should
have a statue of the man.
They should, because you know what? The one thing I have to say about Tottenham, and you've seen it over the recent years, right? They are trying to be a big club. They're trying and they're trying and they're trying. They've gone out there and bought in Mourinho. Now they bought in Conte. You know what I mean? They're trying. They're desperate, right? They've gone out and built a brand new stadium, 60,000 seater. So they're trying to put everything in place to become a big club. But they still ain't won no trophies. And it must be really grating for their fans, right? That the fact that they've kind of got everything in place. I've been to their training ground, right? My son's played there. And I have to admit, it is an outstanding training ground, right? It's rated as one of the best in the country, right? They've got everything in place, Lee. They've got the training ground. They've got the manager, right? They've got the ground. They've even, when you look at it now, you could say they've more or less got the players, right? Yeah, in Harry Kane, and they still have not won anything. I have to wonder if their club is cursed. Well, I really do.
I hope it is. You know what I mean?
But is it you?
The end of it, you have a look at. By the way, it is a fantastic stadium. I think been there, and I have to say it's very impressive.
Yeah, it's decent.
They've got a hotel on their training ground, so when they fly in from a game, like midweek game and like late, they stay at the hotel and then train in the morning. Like, you know what I mean? They've got the infrastructures, all that, but holding them, being held back by Daniel Levy, like, you know what I mean? It's incredible. They've never competed in all my time. I think in the early 80s they competed for the league once, but since then they've never ever done it. They have done it under Pochettino when Levy was in charge.
Done what?
Challenge for the title. They've only
challenged won nothing.
No. What I'm saying, in all my lifetime, they've challenged for the trophy for a title twice. Daniel Levy's been holding them back. He's been holding them back. You know what I mean? Like, it's incredible. That's what they've got. Their mentality of them. Like,
I think there's either they're cursed or there's some sort of mental block there that they just, because you even look at Leicester. Yeah, I want you to put aside the fact that they won the league. I know a lot of people say, that was a miracle, that was crazy, come out of nowhere. But they didn't. After that, still went on to win the FA Cup as well.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Tottenham ain't even done that.
No.
You know what I mean? They got to a final and they sacked their manager.
They sacked their manager the day before.
I mean, honestly, I think he's cursed. Man.
And then they turn around and go, oh yeah, Conte, born winner. He's the one, born winner. He's won this and he's won that. Mourinho won everything. Every club he's been to, Mourinho's won, apart from one club. So there you go on that. And then they're going about, Conte, right? Who was in charge when they went to Middlesbrough last season in the FA Cup?
Conte.
Yeah, who was in charge when they lost over 2 legs to Chelsea?
Conte.
Yeah. But he's won. But they go, but he's won everywhere he's gone. He won the league at Chelsea, yes. But he hasn't done it at Tottenham.
Do you know another myth, that I feel like last season, it's, everybody keeps talking about the wonderful job that Conte did in getting him into the top 4. And listen, it is an achievement to get him into the top 4, right? But I still feel that was less Conte being brilliant and more us falling apart at the end. I really do, because I look on it, right, and there was a lot of games that if you actually look at that the sort of last part of the season, at one stage it was us. At one stage it was them. They were looking like certs for top 4. Then we came ahead of them because they started falling apart. Then they came back. Right, and it was looking like it was going to be them again. If you remember, it was looking like it was going to be them. Then we went on a run because they lost games again. Then we started falling apart after that international break. Remember, we lost 3 games in a row. Yeah. Right, that's what it weren't Conte's brilliance really. It's more us. We lost those 3 games in a row, and then even when we recovered, even when they was there, they were looking in a great position. Because remember, we lost those 3 games in a row. They were kind of quite a way ahead of us. Then we started winning a few games and they were dropping points, they were drawing. And then I remember we even lost to Brighton. And then all they needed to do was next week win against Brighton, and they were kind of clear. And then they lost to Brighton at home. And then they scraped that thing against. They scraped that a very dodgy win against Burnley. Was he that great? I mean, I think, listen, he got him over the line, so you've got to give him credit for that. But I don't think he was exactly that great. I more think it was us, the mistake of not buying players in January, where we were not able to sustain that challenge. I think if it's this season, with us having a bit of a better squad, it'd be really interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I think, looking back on it, it was Arsenal, Man United, West Ham and Tottenham chasing for that top 4 in January. They was the only team that recruited in January. That was a big thing there. Like, also with that, looking back at it, I think Abby said it on one of the shows, like, Tottenham had no divine right to get to the top 4 with what they had. They still got Harry Kane and Song up front, and I think that was the key. We had Eddie going up front. And no disrespect to Eddie. Where's Eddie now? He's not in the team now, more like, because we've upgraded on Eddie. They had Kane and Song, and they're always likely to nick something with them too. And I think that is the key. Yeah. That is the key.
And it's still the key to
them. And it's still the key to them now. Like, look at they defend very, very deep. They sit in, and then they've got that. And they are lethal. I don't care what anybody says. They go 3 against 3, and they're lethal. They go on about, look at the stats of their players to Saka. When Saka's got the ball, he has 2 on him every single time, because we play a different game. When they break, it's normally 3 against 3. They suck you in and hit you on the break. So, Kelevchevsky, whatever his name is, he hasn't got 2 players to take on every single time. He's on the break 1-on-1. So his stats are going to be a little bit better, Robbie. You know what I mean? Like, when Saka gets the ball, most teams are playing a block against us, and he's up against it. But, we don't play that counter-attacking game. Listen, they're very, very good at it.
What have you made of them this season? Because, listen, they're unbeaten. They haven't lost a game this season. They've been a bit fortunate. I mean, we all think back to that game against Chelsea, where they got absolutely dominated the whole game, and then they got a very fortunate goal to equalise at the end. They haven't really performed great, have they? People have been saying that they're a pretty boring team to watch. You know what I mean? When you consider the personnel they have, they play a very negative game, and like you said, rely on getting the ball up to that front 3, stroke 4 with Richarlison when he comes in, that can hurt you.
Yeah.
What have you made of them?
Well, listen, I wouldn't want to be watching that week in, week out. I have to say that. I'm not, it is, boy, I watched when they played in the Champions League, and it was like against Lisbon. They weren't prepared to attack, and nor Tottenham. It was an awful game. But I think that if you'd be really honest about it, yes, Chelsea should have beaten them, but they didn't. They hung in there, and I think sometimes you have to give teams a little bit of credit because they didn't capitulate. They hung in there and got the result. I think that's a little bit Conte's mentality. We should have probably done the same against Man United, hung in there and see what we got. We didn't. We went, so you have to give them credit for not doing that. I didn't think they was that good against West Ham, but they still didn't lose. So that is the thing, and they play like that the whole season. They will sit in and wait for us to make mistakes on Saturday, and that is my worry, is that if we don't take our chances, we're going to get caught on the break.
Because we concede. I think we've conceded in every
home
game this season.
Yeah, and because we leave ourselves open at the back, like we did against Man United, and they've got people that exploit it. What I will say about about Tottenham, and people will criticise them about the way they play and everything like that. When they get the chances, Robbie, they're ruthless. Look against Leicester.
Yeah,
but
they've got world class players up front.
Yeah, Leicester had a lot of that possession, had just as many chances, probably more chances than Tottenham. Tottenham take their chances, and I think that that is the key. So as much as we don't, you can turn around and say, "Oh, I don't like the way they play" and all that. I'm a big believer of respect your opponent and respect. They have got players that can hurt us, and that is a fact. But if we play to our game and we defend properly and we take our chances, I think we're in for a very, very good day on Saturday.
So do you think to yourself, right, go into that game and play it our way, or do you think switch up how we play a bit because of how they play? Where do you stand on that?
No, I'm a believer is that you got to believe in your ability, particularly when you're at home. This is what I was annoyed about last year. We didn't have to do what we got to do this season. We're at home. So the emphasis is on us to go out there and play. What we have to do is do exactly what we've been doing at every game, but defend a lot better. We defended a lot better against Brentford than we did against Man United. Yes, they got better players, but we didn't make mistakes. Yeah. We got to just go in there, really go at them, but make sure that we're solid. Because there are going to be times, Robbie, when we are caught out overloaded, and we've got to defend properly, you know. But I look at our defence, and I feel a little bit more confident about it. But the worry of this game for me is that Leicester, Fulham, Aston Villa have come to the Emirates and have got something against it. And they've all played that way, defend against us and hit us on the break. This is a different animal. They're 10 times better than these teams on the break. So we've got to be maybe a little bit slightly bit more cautious, but we can't afford to make mistakes like we did against those teams.
Do you know what I noticed? And I don't know if you noticed this in the last game, Lee. Right, when Arsenal scored that first goal, right, when we got the first goal, the opener in the game, and it was Saliba, innit? And they all went over into the corner and they're celebrating. I don't know if you noted Granit Xhaka.
Yes. I did.
He sort of pulled the players on it almost into a little sort of huddle sort of thing, and he was talking to them, right? And I get the feeling that he was sort of saying to them, right, listen, everyone switch on, let's not concede.
Yeah.
Let's keep it, because we've had games like you said there where we score, the next minute, you know, because we getting carried away and that, we've lost our heads.
Yeah.
And teams have been able to counter on us and giving away really soft goals. We've got to defend right against these guys, right? Because like you said, Son, Kane, Kulusevski, Richarlison, they are all dangerous players of the highest order. They are all players that can hurt us. But if you defend against them properly, if you track your runners, if you don't give it... I mean, some of the... Don't get me wrong, in that game against Leicester, the goals that Son scored were unbelievable, but the space that they gave him, I mean, you know, it was almost like he was on the training ground being able to curl a ball in because there was nobody near him. And you cannot give a player of that quality that space. So they're going to have to really look after these players, you know what I mean? And not like we did when, I don't know what happened to Rob Holding in that game where he just went...
Yeah, he lost his head, didn't he?
I don't know what he was trying to do, where he was trying to just manhandle
because he hasn't got the comfortability with the pace, you know. The thing is with Arsenal now is that when you go back to that game there, Arsenal play a high line, play right up on it, like, you know, and we haven't got the, you know, Holding is uncomfortable with the ball going behind him. And Song is actually part of his game. We've got Saliba and Gabriel now, who are pacey, so they can recover. They're very, very good at recovery runs. The one thing I will say about Tottenham is we just said that they are ruthless on that. I think Jesus has been fantastic, by the way, for us. He's been unbelievable. But he's missing chances. Like, you know, even against Brentford, he could have had a hat-trick, right? One game, there's going to be a game along the way, I'm hoping it is Saturday, that he's going to create chances and take them.
Yeah.
And get... it will be one game this season where he's going to go bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
I really do believe that. He's, you know...
I think, you know what, Lee, when I look at this game, right, the really interesting thing for me is that, you know, obviously we're talking a lot about their front three and how good their front three is, right? Which we all acknowledge as Arsenal fans, as much as we hate to, but we have to. They're quality, right? But we've also got a devastating front three as well. Gabriel Martinelli's been scoring goals this season, looks dangerous running at defenders, running at defences. He's been excellent at that this season. Saka, who had a great game during the week when he came on for England, his confidence will be flying high. He always puts in a performance against Tottenham. And then, of course, like you said, Gabriel Jesus, who's been absolutely brilliant this season. Last year, they didn't have those threats, I didn't think. They only really had the Saka threat. And then sort of Smith Rowe was on fire as well. But I feel that there's more, our front three as well is going to be very dangerous. The Tottenham defence, I don't think they like players running at them like that. I think a guy like Jesus is going to, and Martinelli and Saka, three guys that run at defenders, is going to cause them a lot of problems, going to occupy. I mean, I can see them being very deep and us attacking them a lot because, you know, And if we can get that first goal, it'd be
great.
huge, you know what I mean? Because, you know, we start bringing them out a bit. I mean, you know, I think we could get a lot of joy. And I'm a bit like you. I've just got a feeling this week for Jesus. That's the thing about this game. They've not had to deal with that threat before.
No, they've not.
You know, all right, they'll say when he's at City, but he was a different Jesus at City playing in a different position. They've not had to deal with that threat. And another thing is, you know, Jesus has been rested up for the past couple of weeks. He hasn't gone away with Brazil. You know, he's been at the Emirates training. So has Gabriel Magalhaes, the same thing. He hasn't gone away, nor has Martinelli. They're going to be very... Even Saka didn't, you know, he played the first game at left back, but he came off. He only sort of came on for about 20 minutes in the second game. Was brilliant in that game, away on duty. I think Odegaard's back now as well. I mean, and I think that we could possibly be the fresher team going into the game.
Yeah, you know, like we obviously like Xhaka has had a couple of games and all that, but I do feel that there is that. I think that also, don't forget, come before the international break, we could rest a few in the Europa League where they've not been able to do that, and going forward, they ain't going to be able to do that where we can. So I do think this. I think home advantage. I still say it now, like, you know what I mean. If we was away, I'd say I'm biting your hand off for a draw. But because we're at home, we've got to really, you know, nail this one. I think, like, you know, and I think that we will. I think that, you know, Smith Rowe will be a loss. You know, good luck. He's wish him well because he's had an operation over the last few days. So hopefully a speedy recovery for him. He's one of those players that can come on and do things.
He loves this game, yeah.
And he's done very, very well against. Spurs, and to be honest, I think he's done very, very well when he's come off the bench and played and all that. I'm a big fan of Smith Rowe, so you know, wish him well and all that. Like, but I've got this feeling that, and maybe I'm wrong or whatever, like that Jesus is going to turn up for this game. I just got a feeling like I say it, and I say it all the time. I've been watching a lot of football through my life and everything like that. He has blown me away since I've seen him come into it. I didn't think he was as good as what I see. You know, but Man City, I thought, yeah, he's good, he's all right. Like, since he's come to the Arsenal, it's just been a wonderful watch. It reminds me
so much of the impact that Alexis
made.
It
was a great point.
When Alexis came in, same sort of thing, you know what I mean? Like, scores goals, assists, and just is absolutely everywhere. And he's just in his infectious way of playing. Just like
inspires the other ones.
Everybody else is just like, right, I'm on it as well. I'm on it. And I as well think he's going to be massive in the game, you know. And I think another factor that's going to be massive in this game is the fans. I mean, the Emirates this season, as you know, and I know, we've been to all the games, has been absolutely buzzing. Absolutely buzzing. The atmosphere has been brilliant. Now, normally, it don't even matter if the place has been flat. When it comes to a North London derby, it ain't flat. It's up there. But the thing is, it's been up there for every game this season. It's going to be absolutely fever pitch. See that? Fever pitch?
I like that.
It's going to be absolutely
very good.
Fever pitch come this weekend. It really is, because I can't tell you how many people have asked me for a ticket.
If I had £1 for it, I'll be a rich man this week.
I'll tell you, man.
It's incredible, and you're right about that. The atmosphere has been sensational every game, like, you know what I mean. It's been a few weeks now, isn't it, since the last home game as well. So that's encouraging, and I just think the Arsenal fans this season have been wonderful at home and away. I'll be honest, you expect it away from home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and over the years it always has been, even when it's been lots of great. But now, you know, you would not know. You know, when you get that like 3,000, it's you know, like it's all around the ground. It's not just in the North Bank now. The clock end, you know, amazing with the Ashburton boys, what they bring up. Like they've I think ramped it up a level from the clock end.
Yeah.
The North Bank now have got to respond, and which they are doing, and even on the sides, you know what I mean. Like, they're all joining in. If a song goes up in the clock end, everybody starts singing it. I think that, you know, I really, really, do you know, sometimes it was a bit of not a chore, as I've worked saying, you just think, well, like, even every game is just, you thought, I can't wait to get into the stadium and sing along and all that. It's buzzing. You know,
and that, hence why I feel, when I hear all these, as we said, all these Tottenham players, sorry, not Tottenham players, Tottenham fans, being so confident that they're going to get the win, I'm like, listen, they're capable of it because they've got a good side, but with our record at home and with our fans, I really want us to really make sure we give them a hard time this week. Like really, I want those players to remember last year and remember the fact that it was them who got the top 4 over us and the victory that they had over us at their place and avenge that. Bit like what the last couple of games ago what we did to Brentford. Sure. Those players knew, they remembered Brentford
exactly.
in the first game, and they were, they were on a mission. They were on a mission.
He reminds them as well.
Yeah, they were on a mission to show Brentford that, hey, you know what? This is a different Arsenal to what you played last year. I want the Arsenal players to have that same attitude against Tottenham to say that, hey, you know what? The Arsenal that you played towards the end of the season last year, that ain't the same.
Arsenal.
This is a different Arsenal, brother.
Yeah.
This is a different Arsenal. And it is a different Arsenal. And I want us to show them that. And I think if that different Arsenal turns up, I am confident that we're going to win.
Yeah. I'm always confident at home. I'll be honest. I'm very, very always confident that because of the home record and all that. And that's why I always worry when we go away from home, because the home record's such a big thing. With Tottenham fans, you notice when we beat them last season, they brush it aside. Then when they win, it's the biggest thing since sliced bread and everything.
I had to remember we was doing that super fan debate. I had to remind them that.
I
put free pass here. I said, well, we put free pass at home. You're forgetting that.
And through the years of supporting Arsenal and against Spurs, 2 times we've been spanked, Tottenham. You know what I mean? 5-0 back when George Wood was in goal in the early 80s, and that one last time hurt. You know what I mean? I hope that the players are aware how much stick we've got, how hurt we was.
But all summer.
All summer. They still get it now with the Champions League saying, oh, you're on Thursday nights and Channel 4. Of course, they know all about that, Channel 5 and all that, because they was doing it for 20 years, you know what I mean? But again, they forgot about that, you know what I mean? They've been in the Champions League 6 years and they think like they own it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm hoping that Mikel will remind them and the fans just to remember how hurt we was that game, and we drill it back to them. We give them as much as we can, and if we do get on top, make sure we power them over them, and the fans take us to that as well. Like, you know what I mean? It's a massive, massive game. It's a massive game because I think for one reason it's Tottenham, but also I think we need to win this one to just say, oh, we're still, we are different.
Behave yourself, sort of thing.
And also, I'm going to say this now: a lot of neutral fans that I've been speaking to, they all want Spurs to win this game, not because they dislike or like Tottenham, is that they're fearing us. They're seeing a different Arsenal. Like, if we were to lose to Spurs, it's our same old Arsenal. But if we were to win and power through this game and all that, we're a serious threat to a lot of other teams.
And I'll give you another reason why it'd be a great thing to win this game, right? Is the fact that, remember, next week it comes thick and fast.
Liverpool.
So Liverpool at home. That's another really, really tough game. And you don't want to be going into that game on the back of a loss.
No.
You know what I mean? Or on the back of a negative result. What if we can go into that game on a real positive, I mean, imagine if we got 2 wins in the next 2 games against Tottenham and Liverpool, what that would do for the confidence of the team. Because I'm really looking at this season in blocks, right? So we've had the first block and we've done brilliantly. This is the second block now, from now until when we go to the World Cup, which is like mid-November. This is the next block of games that Arsenal need to get through. If they can get through these block of games, we're not then back until Boxing Day when we play. I think it's West Ham away, right?
At
home. We could be looking at it and thinking, hey, you know what? We're still up there. Strengthen in January. We could actually challenge for this thing.
Yeah.
So
it's
these
a
are
massive month.
These are very important games coming up, and we want to get off to a great start. You know what I mean? We all remember that time we came back after the international break last season. we were awful.
Yeah.
Right? But I think this is, again, it's a bit different because, it's different players. They haven't all gone away. You know what I mean? I think we could really, really do something if, and I'm looking forward to it. Predictions.
And I just quickly before we say that, if Mikel was to pick up the manager of the month in October, we're in a very, very good place. I know he's picked it up in August, but if he was to pick it up in the end of October, we'd be in a very, very good place.
We would be. Well, listen, I'm going to predict. I'm going to do my prediction. Obviously, on the pick 10, I went for an Arsenal win. On the pick 10, I also said that I think Kane might score, right? I'm going 3-1.
Oh.
I'm going 3-1. I think Arsenal are going to win the game by the same margin as what we won last year. I'm not sure if he'll keep a clean sheet, but I do think we're going to get a few goals in the game. And I really do think we're going to come out the blocks. We're going to really, really come out. We're going to be forced to come out of the blocks by the fans. 3-1 Arsenal.
I'm going to go 3-2. I was thinking 4-2, but I'm gonna just.
Oh, remember the 5-2s.
So yeah, edge be better. I think there'd be goals in this game. I think at the end of the day, we're opening them up on a few occasions, but they will hit us on the break, and I respect them for what they've got up front. So, but I think that I think we'll have too much for them right now.
All right, well, listen, what's your predictions for the game? Don't forget, by the way, talking of predictions, the AFTV PICK10, you can download the app right now. The link is in the description and enter the competition. A chance to win a share of £10,000. And there's a North London Derby special where there's a chance to win a share of £2,000. You can also win 2 of the brand new FIFA games that have come out. They're out right now. You can win 2 of those, and we're giving away
an iPhone box.
Not an iPhone box, the actual iPhone.
Look at that.
The brand new iPhone 14 in red, right? In red, in Arsenal colours, right? We're giving this away, right? All you have to do is enter the competition. And someone's going to be picked at random. So it's going to be someone who ain't even, So
you could actually get no.
You could actually not get any of them right.
But you could
still win an iPhone, or you could win the FIFA games.
Wow.
Just for entering. So what you got to lose, and it don't cost, just get involved with it right now, you know what I mean? Because you've got nothing.
And it's a great game, I've got to say that.
It is a great game, and of course, let me know some restaurants that you'd like Lee to take me to when he loses at the end of the month, you know what I mean? Because we're going to head, of course, and whoever loses at the end of the month has to take the other person out to a restaurant of their choice and pay for it.
Ooh. There you go.
I ain't going to no
just
cheap
before
place.
we go, I want to congratulate you on the David Dean interview. I've got to say, sensational.
Thank you.
No, it was really.
It was
if
brilliant.
you've not seen that, get yourselves and have a look at it. It was revealing.
I enjoyed it.
It was like fantastic. I've got to say that.
Like,
for every Arsenal fan, that was just unbelievable.
No, he was brilliant. And by the way, I got another exclusive that we did. We did an interview with Alex Scott.
Oh yeah.
Yep. He's saying, oh yeah, because we're asking this question, right? So we did actually do the interview today on the day of filming. It's going to be out after this weekend's game, right? So make sure you check that out. Probably be out on Sunday. So make sure you check out that Alex Scott, or Sunday or Monday, one of them days, right? But make sure you check out the Alex Scott interview, right? But for some reason today, you turned up about 2 hours early, right? Now, did it have anything to do with the fact that Alex Scott interview was up first before we did this?
Not at all, you know what I mean? I just like to get here, prep properly and all that.
And then you should have seen him when she walked in. Hi, Alex.
Hi,
Alex. Oh, how you doing? Alex this, Alex that.
No. As it happens, they call you late and loud, but you was on time as well, I just got to say that, so there you go.
I got to say, right, it's a brilliant book as well, and she's such a lovely person.
Yeah, it seemed very nice, didn't she?
Yeah, brilliant interview as well. So make sure you check that one out as well. If you like the David Dean one, you're going to like that one as well. Again, she has done so much. I mean, and she is Arsenal through and through. You know, she had big offers from other... She did go and join Birmingham, right? And she did go and play in America. But when she come back, she had big offers from like Man City and that. She said, "No, I'm Arsenal. I want to stay at Arsenal."
Quality.
Arsenal through and through. And she as well was saying to me that she goes, "We got to win the North London Derby." She knows what it means. Listen, the women won the North London derby last week, winning that by 4-0. Men, can you repeat that, please?
Yes, please.
Repeat that, please, and it will be happy days. Thanks for watching the show. Don't forget to subscribe here to AFTV. As I said, don't forget, link in the description. Chance to win this iPhone just by entering, and also share of £10,000, share of £2,000. So check it out on AFTV Plus. But Lee, that's it, man. It's only a few days to go.
Oh, it's just the old nerves are ticking in, like
nerves are kicking in already, man.
And as they should, as they should.
The biggest derby in English football, the North London derby. We cannot wait. The Invincible podcast. Myself, Robbie, and Lee Judges come together once a week to discuss all things Arsenal. Straight talking, considered discussion, brought to you by the fans of the only club in Football League history to go invincible.